Spring has sprung and I am excited to reset for spring and for Q2. So if you're excited, ready for a renewal, ready for refreshed energy, ready for almost like a second new year within the year of 2025, if you're watching this in real time when it airs, then this episode is going to be for you. I'm going to give you some really great strategies on how to reset for spring, to just feel refreshed now that we have new energy and longer days and a lot more things we want to accomplish. If you're anything like me, Q1 might not have gone exactly how you thought it would be. And I'm going to talk more about how my Q1 went and why I'm switching things around for Q2 based on what I learned. And I'm also going to share how you can do the same thing. So welcome back to the podcast. Hello. Welcome to the Fire Inside podcast. If this is your first time watching me, hi, hello, how are you? I am Sade Kelly. I'm a time management coach and I help you master your time so you can balance your work, wellness, and relationships peacefully. I'm all about how can you manage all the things, do all the things in your own time and with intention. And this podcast talks about all things personal development, time management, and whatever you need to level up to become your best self. So if you're into that, you're ready to enhance yourself, get closer to the glow up that you know you deserve, that you should have in your life, then make sure you are subscribed to this podcast. Spring is the perfect time to reflect, to realign and refresh your goals for 2025. So what I'm going to be sharing in today's episode is just the simple strategies and the process that I like to go through to just feel like I'm refreshing for the quarter. So if you don't know already, I like to plan my goals quarterly. So how I think about the year each and every year is I like to think high level, what do I want for the year? And then I break it down into quarterly goals and or projects. So I have a focus for 3 months at a time. Because what I noticed was when I would set these large goals, and tell me you've been here because I know you probably have, I would set these large goals for the year. And then I wouldn't really achieve any goals until like maybe the fall or like end of summer. And then it would feel like a race to the finish at the end. So then I learned about through the 12-week year, how you can treat every quarter like it's its own year and really focus on what can you accomplish in 3 months. Because a lot of times when we think about things on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, it doesn't feel like enough time. But 3 months is like that golden spot where you have enough time to really hone in on something and make progress and then refine it for the next 3 months. So it's like you have 4 years within 1 year. And I noticed that worked really, really well with my clients as well. Like at first when I started coaching, I was coaching for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks and people would always get results, but it wasn't like the same type of transformation they would get in 90 days. And then I learned this science behind it that after 66 to 90 days, that's how long it takes for you to make a lifestyle change. So it's not just 21 days to build up a habit, but lifestyle changes happen in 66 to 90 days. And that's why I started to see that shit for myself with my clients. And I'm so really, really passionate about helping people be able to achieve things quarterly and have those 4 years within 1 year. And I did quotations because it's like, you don't really have 4 years, but it feels like you do because you treat each quarter like that. So if you're anything like me, you probably love to plan, or maybe you don't love to plan and you are watching this channel because you want to get better at planning, wherever you fall on the spectrum. I love planning almost better than I love executing, which is a little cringy to admit, but it's true. I really love planning. I love making new project like outlines and using software and getting my week together. Like I love the idea of planning and prepping and feeling prepared because it just helps me to execute better. So if you're someone who struggles with a little bit of execution, you're probably someone who needs a really good set plan and you may be unsure of how to do that. So I want to help you do that in today's podcast for Q2 because Q2 runs from April 1st all the way until June 30th. So when we get to July 1st, that's when Q3 begins. So you have the months of April, May, and June to get things refreshed and together because once we hit the end of June, that's halfway through the year. So Q2 is really, 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 really important. And if your Q1, like I said, didn't go as well as you wanted, you're going to run to do this process to make sure Q2 goes better. All right. In today's episode, I am going to discuss the 4 R's to get you prepared for spring. And the 4 R's are reflect, realign, refresh, and reignite. And you really can't move forward strategically without looking back to evaluate how things went. And I talk about this with my clients all the time because I noticed that a lot of times we want to just go after the next thing, but we don't actually know any of our data. So it's almost like when people come to me and they're like, I need new habits, I need a new schedule, and I want to accomplish XYZ. And I'm like, yeah, we can get you there, but where are you at right now? And then they tell me where they're at, and usually that's not correct. So what I usually have them do is actually audit their time so we can really know what's actually going on. And it's very eye-opening once you're timing yourself and auditing what you're doing. So this process that I'm going to take you through today is a bit of an audit of Q1 in terms of your habits, your time management, your goals, like your intentions, how you've been working throughout the day and executing throughout the day. And we're going to take what you've been doing, what you would like to achieve, and then come up with a plan to help you achieve those things in Q2. Does that sound good? Then let's get started. All right. So part one of this process is to reflect on Q1. So I want you to assess what went well and what could have gone better. Notice I said what could have gone better instead of what's wrong. We want to watch our language, right? Because we're going to talk about improving, but we're not going to do it from a place of beating ourselves up. We're going to do it from a place of compassion and giving ourselves grace. So some questions to ask yourself. I want you to assess based on your personal life and your work life. And if you want to do this in separate sheets of paper or separate docs, you can do that. You can do it however you want, right? But I want you to assess based on your wellness, fitness, relationships, self-care, and then your work. So whether you work a job or a business or both, really think through all the different sectors of your life that matter to you, that you are heavily involved in. And I want you to think, how would I describe Q1 overall? Like what went well in it? What word maybe encompassed it? What wins did you have that you can celebrate? And take some time to like really write that down. Maybe even pause this podcast as you're watching it and like do it in real time and just think through like how many wins do you have and get as many as you can down. Maybe, you think you have like 5, but you really probably have like 10 or 20 that you could really write down. I mean, it's been 3 months. I'm sure you've wanted a lot of things and it's nothing too small or too big that you cannot write down. So I want you to first think about, how did this Q1 go overall? Like, I know for me, I think I learned a lot and there's a lot of growth and shifts within my life in Q1 and I'm grateful for them. Now, when I was going through it, it felt real messy. It felt really, really hard. But looking back, I'm like, okay, I learned a lot in Q1. I have a lot more insights. I'm really now realizing that being a stay-at-home mom as well as a full-time business owner working from home can coexist the way I want. It just didn't in Q1 because I had different things going on. And I'm thinking about how I can refresh it and switch things around for Q2. And if you guys are interested in like specific content around like how I do it, like stay-at-home mom / full-time entrepreneur, then comment below so I know you want to hear that type of content, because I know not everybody's into that. I mean, not everyone watching me probably has a young child, but maybe they do. So if you'd be interested in that, let me know. I'd be happy to do like a whole episode on that, but I only want to do it if you guys want it. So, but back to what I was saying. This is more concerning everyone, but I want you to think through, okay, how did Q1 go? Next, I want you to think, what didn't go as planned? So what lessons did you learn? What could have gone better? And I know this is the usual one that's easy to write out because our minds are negatively wired, but I want you to just write out all the things that could have gone better, what you wish happened in Q1, and what are lessons that you learned, because we're going to take those lessons and apply them to Q2, right? And then lastly, I want you to get a little more granular. So how can I improve my consistency, my balance, my time management, my intention, even just how I'm executing on my goals? So this is all about your performance, essentially. How can you improve your performance? And I want you to pause this if you need to. Like I said, write all the things down that you could do to improve your performance. Whether it's like you're not tracking enough things as you could be, or maybe you're not making progress the way you thought you would be. Like I know for me, I didn't make as much progress as I thought with my weight loss in terms of on the scale, because I was really focused on the scale. But it's so funny because I always tell myself, like, and I've learned in past programs because I've invested so much in my health, that you shouldn't always depend on the scale, because when I measured myself at the end of the quarter, I had lost 2 inches off my waist. I had lost like 2 or 3 inches off my hips. And I think that was pretty much it. I'm trying to think of what my other measurements were, but those were like the biggest ones where I was like, oh, that's why I can like fit into these jeans again. And I'm looking a little better in the mirror. And I'm in a bathing suit every week because I go to swim with my son, and I noticed like, okay, you look better, girl. The scale might have not moved as much as you want, but I got to give that time. So through measuring is how I noticed some of those things, and how I realized, okay, maybe the diet is definitely my biggest thing that I could shift. And also I noticed with my business, like, I want to scale back on certain things, and I want to switch up some of the content that I'm making. And I'm also working a little bit more with my husband. Like, we've been wanting to do that more. So these are just lessons that I learned and that I'm seeing that I could be improving for Q1 that I'm going to be applying in Q2. So think about what that is for you. Journal it, write it down, use it as your basis. So that was the reflection piece. Next, we're going to go into realigning to your yearly vision and or goals. So like I said, you should have a yearly vision, goals, like what you want for 2025. I want you to revisit that vision. Like, are you still aligned with what you wanted back in January? If not, that's okay. I've worked with so many clients who are like, they come in with these goals and they're like, Sade, I'm not feeling so aligned with these goals. Switch them. Don't switch them because you feel like they're too hard or you can't achieve them. That's not what I mean. Are they still aligned with what you want? Like, really drill deep into, what do I desire? What am I envisioning for my life right now? Have things shifted in the last 3 months or maybe 4 months if you did just in December or Q4 of last year? Are you still aligned with what you wanted? Yes or no? If not, adjust your goals, right? Adjust your goals based on your insights. Do you need to scale back on things? Do you need to refocus your priorities? Do you need to pivot your approach? Do you need to add a new goal that excites you because you already accomplished certain things? Maybe you want to add on something, subtract something. Really think through, okay, am I aligned with what I wanted for the year? Am I aligned with what I decided to do in Q1? Do I still want to continue those things in Q2? I know for me, some of those goals that I had, I'm like, don't really want to do that anymore. Ooh, I don't like how that's working out. I want to shift this. I actually want to launch this or do something different. That's okay. Don't scrap everything, right? So really want to be diligent about it, but really tune into yourself to see what you are aligned with. And while you're doing this, I will also caveat that you want to do this from a good mood, a good place. So if you're really tired this day, that you're trying to do this, or you're feeling a little off or misaligned just within yourself, maybe take a step back, come back to this at a later time, because you do want to make sure that you're in a good mood and you're like in a good headspace when you're doing this. Maybe you need to put on the right music or set the tone for yourself, or do this when you can be interrupted, or go somewhere else to do this, because you want to make sure that when you sit down and do this, you are setting yourself up for Q2, and then boom, you're able to just execute. I'm a big proponent of like planning once or twice, really getting it solidified for your quarter, and then just going to execute it and not pivoting or changing too much until you've at least had 3 months of data, which I think can tell you a lot, right? Give yourself a shot. Sometimes people will launch things and then they just want to change things right after, or they'll start something and be like, oh, it's not working out after 2 days. Give yourself some time. All right. So now, after you've done the realigning, you should already have then selected your goals for the quarter. Now, for me, I typically have about 1 to 5 goals. I don't like to go over that for a quarter. I think 2 or 3 is like a really good sweet spot for most people. I have been told that I'm a high executor, right? So I tend to be able to handle a lot more things than a normal person. And I'm very aware of that, and I'm conscious of that. So I do plan my goals based on my personality type. But I do want to urge you, don't have too many goals. You want them to be realistic, right? And so that you can accomplish them. So part 3 is the refresh. So I want you to refresh your routines and your systems. Now for me, what a refresh looks like is I actually like to change around my home. So a refresh is not just like with goals specifically, it's like your environment. So sometimes I like to clean up my home. I love to do like a spring cleaning. Like, I'm all for a spring cleaning, whether you're hiring someone to come clean for you or you're doing it yourself. Maybe you need to purge your closet. I like to go in and think, if I haven't worn this in 2 years, maybe I can get rid of it. Now I say 2 years because my husband was like, oh, we should purge all the things that we haven't worn in a year. I was pregnant last year. So listen, I wasn't wearing nothing that I have in my closet now. So I like to think about, okay, 2 years from now, because I wasn't pregnant then, I was my normal size. What are the things that I was wearing that I'm not wearing it anymore, I don't want to wear again, that I can give away? What are things that I have in the home, that gadgets or furniture or tables or, game consoles? I'm just looking at our house, but like, what is it that you can get rid of, that you can clean out? And I like to do this. Take a couple of days, clean out your drawers, clean out all the paper that you have and in random folders and notebooks that you don't need, like Post-its that are all over the place, girl. Like, you have a lot of stuff you don't need in that house. or in your office environment or in your garage or whatever, or even in your car, because some of y'all cars be looking crazy. Okay. So clean out all those different areas. You really want to get yourself to a really good refresh, decluttered place, and clean out your phone too. I like to go in and delete a lot of photos, screenshots that I'm never going back to, things I've saved on social media that I'm not going to use. Clean it all out. After you've done your spring cleaning, you also want to look at your routines. How is your morning routine going? How's your night routine going? How's your days flowing? What are you tending to do? What are you not doing? Do you want to wake up earlier? Do you want to go to sleep earlier? Like, do you want to wake up later? Do you want to go to sleep later? Like, whatever it is, think through, like, how are my routines going? How's my energy? How's my mood? Do I want my routines to shift week to week? If you're a woman, you may want that because of our hormones levels that switch. I know for me, when I'm on my cycle, I need to sleep a little bit more. I need to take maybe a little bit more naps. I may be a little more resting during that time. And then certain other phases, I know I have more energy, so I don't need as much sleep, or I can do things a little bit differently. And in my program, I actually go really in depth with this, but high level, think about your routines. How can you refresh your routine in terms of morning, night, and day? As well as, are there any habits you want to get into? Do you want to be taking more steps? Do you want to get outside more? For me, in the spring, I'm all about getting more walking in, because I notice when I walk more, my mood is better. My energy is better. I'm getting more things done. I'm looking better. Like I slim out more. And also the daylight and just being next to water for me is so calming and peaceful. So I have like, I think, I don't even know if it's a pond or lake or whatever by my house. So I like to walk around there. I like to bring my son to look at the flowers, like whatever it is for you. Figure out what you're going to start doing. Habits that make you feel more alive. Like maybe you're going to start limiting your work hours so you can get outside in the evening. Maybe you're going to like streamline your priorities a certain way, or context the things you need to do so you can get them done simpler. So you have certain themes for certain days, or you want to start going out with your friends more, engaging in more self-care. Like you want to update your tools. Maybe you want to learn a new project management software. Like I've been revamping my Google project management software that I'm using, or project management tool, I should say, that I'm using with myself and my husband's business. Maybe you want to clean out your Sunsama. That's something I did recently. I cleaned out my Sunsama, my Google Drive, and my Notion with things that have just been reoccurring that I want to switch up. So think of ways that you can refresh and simplify so that things don't feel so complicated, and you know what you're accomplishing over Q2. And you really want to make sure that whatever you plan in your goals during the realignment works with your refresh. So how can you take the new goals that you have and create those habits and get them into your calendar, get them into your regular plan and routine? And then the last part of this all is reigniting your momentum. So based on how Q1 went, what are daily mantras that you want to remind yourself? So I have a bunch of daily mantras that I really, really love to remind myself of. And for me, I wanted to just share a couple of them because I think they could be helpful for you guys. And if you want a whole episode on them, I can do that too. But high level, some mantras that I really, really love is the 4 Agreements. So I love, love, love the 4 Agreements. It's such a great book. It is like, I feel like it's a Bible for life in a way, in terms of personal development, because the 4 Agreements is everything you need to live by. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. Like those are 4 things we all should do. We should be honest. We should say what we mean. We should speak with integrity. We should not allow others to ever make us feel any type of way. I always say, he who angers you controls you. Things can happen around you, but you can always control your attitude, right? So never taking anything personally is going to save your life, literally. Don't make any assumptions. Don't take anything and screw it in your mind that's not even true. Always be doing your best. That doesn't always mean 100% every day if all you have is 10%, but that's still your best for that day. So those are mantras that I live by, that I read every single morning. And another thing I do to reignite my momentum is I read through the 13 things mentally strong people don't do. So I'm going to read fast through those because there are 13 things. But if you haven't heard of this book, these are all books, by the way, that I read, and then I took the mantras or like the sayings and I put them into my Notion board, which I have my little manifesto that I read every day, and it includes these things. So it includes the 4 Agreements, the 13 things mentally strong people don't do, which includes they don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves, they don't give away their power, they do not shy away from change, they don't waste energy on things they can't control, they don't worry about pleasing everyone, they don't fear taking calculated risks, they don't dwell on the past, they don't make the same mistakes over and over, they don't resent other people's success, and they don't give up after the first failure. The 11th thing they don't do is they don't fear alone time, they don't feel the world owes them anything, and they don't expect immediate results. Those are the 13 things mentally strong people don't do. I read through those every single day because there's always one that calls to me or that I'm feeling or that I'm going through that changes, but it always gets me right into where I need to be anytime I'm feeling down or not super motivated. And then the last thing that I actually added on, and this is going to be new for me in Q2, is the happy achiever. So I read this book. I loved it. It's the 8 essentials that high achievers need in order to get more done in a peaceful, balanced way. And the first one is strive for excellence and not perfection. The second one is invest in your energy. The third is navigate uncertainty with curiosity. So I'm really big on replacing worry with wonder. And just that simple shift is really, really big, and it's been really transformative for me. The fourth tip is cultivate healthy connections, right? In the 8. The fifth thing is transform shoulds to cans. The 6th is level up to gratitude-based thinking. The 7th is celebrate the victories. And the 8th is create meaningful goals, create your legacy, and just start now. So those are the 8 essentials that I've been adding. I love referring to these every single day. So the 4 agreements, the 13 things mentally strong people don't do, and then the 8 essentials for high achieving people. So if you like these, go ahead and find these books, start reading them. I highly recommend that. Write them down for yourself, or just find mantras or quotes or videos that inspire you and rewrite your motivation, because I promise you, having these every single day is going to get you right. It's going to get you in the right mindset. It's going to get you where you need to be. This is really great because it's not necessarily about starting over. It's more about leveling up based on where you are, right? So let's take where we're at and see how we can improve to make ourselves even better in Q2. So your action item for this podcast episode is go through this spring refresh process. Go through the 4 R's. So reflect, that's part 1. Go ahead and do your reflection of Q1 and answer those questions. Then go ahead and do your realignment, which is part 2, and figure out how you're going to realign for the year and for your goals for Q2. And then do part 3, which is refresh your routines, your systems, your environment. And then part 4, which is figuring out how you can reignite your momentum based on things that you should be consuming every single day so you can get to where you want to be. Now, I'd love to hear, what is your Q2 focus? What are the things that you want to achieve this quarter? Let's hold each other accountable. Let's cheer each other on in the comments. And if you love this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe, as well as share this with someone you know needs a spring refresh and would benefit so much from it. And thank you so much for watching. As always, if you are in need of accountability, community, and you really just want some support to level up your personal development, spend your time more intentionally on things you want to be doing, why don't you book a time audit? These are the free calls that I offer to my listeners so that I can audit your time based on what you're currently doing, find out more about what you're looking to achieve, and figure out how we can close the gap so that you can be spending your time the way you'd like. You can go ahead and find that link in the show notes. And otherwise, I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.